Floyd Mayweather looks me in my face and he says, I'm going to take him out about the 8th or 9th round.
This title, legend versus legend. So, I mean, that speaks for itself.
What did you think about what he had to say about you when he said you're way better than Floyd Money Mayweather? I know you heard that he said that. What thoughts came to your mind when you heard that Canelo Alvarez said that about you?
Hey, that's a big compliment. He's been in the ring with both of us, so he would know, from his own experience. A lot of people, they can say this, they can say that, but there's only, a few people that can say they've been in the ring with Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather and give their own assumption.
Stephen A. Smith just threw up the red flag on Terence Crawford, and when Stephen A. raises his voice, you either pay attention or sit back with some popcorn. He's calling it exactly how he sees it, and moments like these always stir the boxing world. Fans know that when Stephen A. speaks, the conversation is about to get heated.
Was undefeated for the last half of his career with one hand.
Is Floyd Mayweather top 5?
No, not in my book. No,
not even top 10.
Maybe top 10 in my book, Kevin. Not top 5. He's maybe top 10, but not top.
He's basically warning Bud not to walk into the Mayweather maze, because that shoulder roll is like trying to crack an unsolvable code. You can swing all night, but nothing's connecting. It's the kind of style that drains fighters mentally as much as physically, leaving them frustrated and second-guessing every move.
Is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this 4-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds, claiming all the...
And honestly, I get it. Floyd's defense isn't just good, it's a straight-up cheat code, the kind that makes world-class fighters look like they're shadowboxing with air. But here's the twist, Crawford just came off that historic win over Canelo, and right now his stock is sky-high. If he risks it all chasing Mayweather, the narrative could flip faster than a judge's scorecard. Fans love a hero's rise, but they're just as quick to turn if the gamble backfires.
He's way better than Mayweather. What do you think to that?
Who, Terence?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Of course. Of course he is.
Canelo saying that Crawford's a better fighter than Mayweather. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't, but I think Crawford's a phenomenal.
One bad night against the master of defense, and suddenly the headlines scream Crawford exposed. That's the wild thing about legacy in boxing. It's as fragile as glass. So while Stephen A. is waving that caution flag, I can't help but think, if Bud really steps into this fight, we're not just watching punches, we're watching history balance on a razor's edge. One wrong move could turn greatness into gossip, and triumph into a cautionary tale.
He looks me in my face, and he says, I'm going to take him out about the 8th or 9th round. He says, I'm going to walk right into him and stay at his chest. He's going to have to push me off in order to throw his punches. He said he's going to be circling the ring. He said by around 4 or 5, he's not going to have any legs. He's going to be done. And he said, and I'll just toy with him and keep him around until around the 8th or the 9th round.
Alright, so Stephen A. waves the caution flag on Crawford stepping in with Floyd, and now here comes Roy Jones Jr. tossing gasoline on the fire. He flat out says Mayweather isn't even top 5 all time, maybe not even top 10 in his book. And when a legend like Roy drops a bomb like that, you and I can't just scroll past. That kind of statement doesn't just spark debate, it shakes up the entire boxing hierarchy conversation.
Top 5?
No, not in my book. No,
not even top 10?
Maybe top 10 in my book, Kevin. Not top 5. He's maybe top 10, but not top 5. Floyd can fight, don't get it wrong. Floyd can fight. But here's what my problem is. Well, I understand, I know you're a Floyd fan, but here's my problem. Who did Floyd fight that was on his level when he fought? Only Canelo.
Because if Floyd's not top 5, then what does it really mean for Crawford to chase him? It's like buying those limited edition sneakers only to realize they're just regular ones with extra shoelaces. But here's the wild part, Roy might have a point. Floyd built his empire on defense and timing, mastering the art of minimizing risk while maximizing reward. That formula made him untouchable, but it also fuels the argument about where he truly ranks among the all-time greats.
I'm not gonna say who would have beat Floyd, like I said. I'm just saying Floyd never fought nobody that was of his equal. He didn't fight a James Tony. He didn't go looking for a James Tony. And he fought Shane Mosley at 38 years old, and it still was a good fight while I left. Shane almost took him out at 38. He fought Oscar De La Hoya at an old age, and we still ain't sure. If you go look at the fight, I still ain't sure who won that.
That was a close fight.
Close fight. But this is the old Oscar De La Hoya. But it's not. Wait. This is the old Oscar.
Roy says he picked his dance partners carefully, while Crawford's been steamrolling pound-for-pound kings like it's casual Friday. A Bud-Floyd fight wouldn't just be styles clashing, it'd be eras colliding. Floyd's safety first, chess in the ring approach versus Bud's all-action, finish or bust mentality. One relies on surgical timing and avoidance, the other on pressure, power, and a killer instinct. This wouldn't be just another fight, it'd be a chapter of boxing history with every round carrying a verdict.
His whole career, people like Erislandy Lara gave you the blueprint on how to beat him. People like Floyd Mayweather also gave you the blueprint on how to beat him. But Bud is more fierce, more fearsome, and more angrier, and more meaner than both of those guys. So you know if they showed you the blueprint, Bud gonna go out there and take that blueprint and do even more with it, which is what Bud did.
And let's be real, if Crawford dismantled Canelo and then solved the Mayweather puzzle, forget top 5. The conversation would shift to whether Bud just leapfrogged the entire sport. Floyd might roll his shoulder, but Crawford's rolling for history, chasing a legacy that could redefine greatness itself. One victory like that, and his name wouldn't just be in the debate, it would be etched at the very top.
Floyd was more defensive and more accurate. Crawford's more, he got that dog in him, and he believes in himself. Both of them got that mindset. So they're both great fighters. I don't like to say who's better than who, but they're both great.
Alright, so we just heard Roy Jones Jr. tossing grenades at Mayweather's legacy, and now Robert Garcia steps in with the Crawford vs. Floyd reality check. And this is where it gets spicy. Sure, we can debate prime for prime all day, but Robert's point cuts deep. Mayweather never went undisputed, while Bud's been out here cleaning out divisions like it's spring cleaning. That difference isn't just numbers on a resume, it's the kind of accomplishment that forces you to rethink who really owns the throne.
In a fight, I'd probably still pick Mayweather. Both in the prime, I would probably pick Mayweather to win. Just like I would probably pick Pacquiao to win, both in the prime.
Ooh, to beat Crawford.
Yeah, I think so.
Prime for prime? Nice.
Yeah. But is Crawford one of the greatest of all time? It's 100%. They're definitely here.
That's not some throwaway detail. That's history being carved in bold, permanent ink. And sure, Robert admits Floyd's skill set was otherworldly, but the bigger takeaway is this: Crawford's resume already boasts achievements Floyd never reached. Let that sink in for a second. You can roll your shoulder all night long, but when the man across from you has 3 undisputed crowns sitting on his shelf, you better hope that defense comes with a lifetime insurance policy.
Mayweather never became undisputed. He's a 5-division champion, but never became undisputed. Never really followed that unification, stuff like that. So I think when it comes to accomplishments, I think he's already done more.
To me, this isn't just fight talk, it's perfection colliding with accomplishment. And the wildest part? If Bud keeps stacking names, we might all wake up realizing Mayweather's shadow isn't as tall as we once believed. Garcia's out here saying Crawford's resume makes Floyd look human, and then boom, you flip the channel and Joe Rogan's declaring Floyd the greatest boxer to ever live. That's the beauty of this debate. One legend's crown always seems to shine brighter depending on who's holding the microphone.
Counterpunchers in the history of the sport. He was so good at staying in the pocket. So he was an elusive guy. Yeah.
Or
insane.
there's he slipping.
Pattern
right?
recognition. He's one of the most elusive fighters of all time. He stood right in front of you and you couldn't hit him. That's true mastery of space and true mastery of...
And you know what? That's pure boxing barbershop energy. Half the room saying Floyd cherry-picked his opponents, the other half swearing he's a once-in-a-generation genius. But Joe takes it to another level. He's talking about Mayweather flexing so much control he could fire referees mid-fight, like the CEO of boxing's HR department. Imagine clocking in with a whistle and a scorecard, and by round 3 you're unemployed because Floyd didn't like your call. That's not just power, that's empire-level leverage.
Floyd threw a right hand and it caught him on the side of the head, and the referee claimed that it was behind the head. So Floyd fired the referee in the middle of the bout.
And then you hear the discipline stories. Floyd running at 2 a.m. after leaving the club. Me? If I'm leaving the club at 2, I'm running straight to the nearest kebab shop, not 6 miles down the Vegas Strip. That's why Floyd's undefeated, and the rest of us are undefeated at Uber Eats. But here's the twist: Crawford's the type to hear that story and say, cool. Now let me test that shoulder roll with some southpaw dynamite. Because if anyone's got the IQ, grit, and killer instinct to flip Joe's best ever claim on its head, it's Bud. And if Crawford cracked that puzzle, we wouldn't just be debating GOATs, we'd be rewriting the entire boxing Bible.
Nightclub with everybody else, be drinking water, everybody's partying, having a good time. Floyd would leave the nightclub at 2 a.m., have his bodyguards drive the car, and he would run in front of the car for hours. Run home, 2 o'clock in the morning, run 5-6 miles, and did it all the time. Just always did. He was always fit, always in shape.
And that's where it really gets spicy, Crawford versus Mayweather. Same ring, same night, same prime, and you've basically got chess at gunpoint. Floyd would be slipping, sliding, making you miss by inches, looking untouchable as always. But Crawford isn't one of those wild swingers Floyd used to school. Bud brings patience, timing, and a nasty ability to adjust mid-round. Mayweather's defense is like trying to hit smoke, but Crawford's offense is smoke that punches back, and it punches hard enough to change the whole equation.
Me in the slow-mo, like where he would slip punches by like centimeters. And they may think that like his depth perception and the depth perception of successful fighters must just be exquisite. Because, I mean, like slipping at that distance with just a chin movement.
That's one thing, but it's also pattern recognition. You've been doing it so many times and
We're talking counters to counters, IQ versus IQ, a chess match where one wrong move could flip the whole fight. Honestly, it's the one fantasy matchup that makes everyone lean in, because deep down we all know Crawford might be the only guy who could actually make Floyd sweat at his own game of perfection. And just as Joe Rogan crowns Floyd the best ever, Oscar de la Hoya slides in like the teacher's pet, saying, "Hold up, Mayweather's way above Crawford." I get it, Oscar still has nightmares about that shoulder roll, but come on, you can't just brush off Bud like he's some sparring partner. This is a guy who solves fighters mid-round like he's speedrunning a video game, adjusting and dismantling before they even know what's happening.
Hit at all. He didn't get hit at all. Not one time. And Crawford, yeah, he's more of a fighter, boxer. Mayweather's more of a boxer. Or that I stepped in the ring with Mayweather, but I really feel that technically Mayweather's a better fighter.
Floyd toyed with Canelo, true. But Crawford dismantled him in a way that made us all grab popcorn twice. And you and I both know, this isn't about who's slicker. It's about who's got that hidden gear when chess suddenly turns into a street fight. Crawford versus Mayweather isn't just a matchup, it's a boxing fan's fever dream, the kind that would break Twitter and keep group chats lit until 4 a.m. Picture it, Floyd reading Bud's moves like a grandmaster, shoulder rolling and slipping shots by millimeters. But then there's Crawford, who doesn't just play chess, he flips the board and says, "Checkmate." That's not just a fight, that's a storyline that would echo for generations.
But I have to disagree. I think Mayweather is much more superior than Crawford. Not just because he beat me and it was a close fight, whatever, you know. I have to disagree because Floyd Mayweather toyed with Canelo. Like, he literally toyed with
you, me, all of us watching know Bud's that rare fighter who can adjust 3 times in a single round. And that's the kind of puzzle even Floyd's calculator brain might glitch on. One mistake, one adjustment too late, and Crawford's already timing a counter like it's a heat-seeking missile. Prime for prime, this isn't just a fight, it's a history bender. The kind of showdown that makes us ask not who's the best of their era, but who's the best we've ever seen. So after Oscar de la Hoya's "Floyd is above Crawford" lecture, here comes Jeff Mayweather sliding in like the family spokesperson, saying, "Hold up, let's not rewrite history." And he's not wrong, Floyd at 36 wasn't some washed-up version, he was still slicker than an oil spill in the rain. But here's the catch, if Canelo was too green back then what do we say when Crawford dismantled the seasoned, granite chin version of Canelo? That's the spicy angle people don't want to admit.
Canelo, what, 20-something? 20 what? 23? 25?
Yeah, very, very young in the game, very obviously.
Young, yeah, very young. He had more fights than Floyd, and he lost.
Yeah,
but a man that was 30-something years old, 36.
But Floyd was clearly at the top of his career, and Canelo had fought a lot of people.
But his career. How you at the top of your career in your prime? You ain't in your prime when you're at 36.
Floyd schooled the rookie. Bud cooked the champion. And you, me, and every fan know those are 2 completely different meals on the boxing menu. Here's the fun part, you can argue Floyd's prime wasn't in his 20s, but by that same logic, Crawford's prime at 36 should be tossed aside too. Yet here he is, ripping eras in half like it's nothing. So when Jeff says Floyd was still at the top of his game, I get it. But the twist? Bud might only now be hitting his stride, picture Crawford and Floyd, prime for prime. That's not teacher versus student, it's chess master versus hitman. Floyd slips, counters, and paints perfection. Bud adjusts, detonates, and turns openings into explosions. And that's why this debate never ends, because deep down, we all want to know if the Mayweather blueprint could survive Crawford's demolition playbook.
That's not your prime.
Did he lose? I mean,
your prime is in your 20s.
It's different for different people.
Yeah, okay. Well, so, and that's why Canelo is saying what he's saying.
But I mean, don't you? I mean,
want to make himself look like he did something great.
Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who do you got, Crawford or Mayweather? And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Boxing Hub. We're just getting started. Catch you in the next one.